Hey, have you ever asked yourself, why would people hire me as a coach if they can go learn the same thing themselves? Have you guys noticed that pretty well anything anybody wants to learn, all they have to do is search it on YouTube or on Google, and they can learn themselves. They don't need to buy your course, your coaching program, buy your books. They don't need to do that. But if that's the case, why do so many people hire coaches? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to get started right after this.
Hey, I'm Ken. I used to be a homicide detective. I was a cop for over 15 years, and I got sick of it. When I found out I was going to become a dad, I needed to make a change. In the last 15 years, I've started 4 different businesses in 4 different industries, and they've made a lot of money. This channel is dedicated to showing people exactly how to build an 8-figure coaching business. Every single part of it. I love teaching people how to write books, how to get your books traditionally published, how to turn those books into 7-figure coaching businesses, and you're going to find all that information right here.
All right, friends, this is a conversation I'm excited to talk to you about because it's something. So what I want to talk to you about today is why people pay for coaching programs and why they just don't Google the information themselves. But you know what I'm really going to talk to you about is why it's the same answer to the question, why do so many coaches struggle trying to build coaching businesses? Listen, every day in the world, there is $300 million. This is just in the States, $300 million being spent on people that are paying for online learning programs, coaching programs, group coaching, individual coaching, automated offers, like all of that stuff. $300 million a day. But you know what else, friends? 90% of people trying to launch coaching businesses struggle. Now, think about that for a second. Why is it that so many people struggle? They're qualified. Most people that are struggling, and if this is you got to have the guts to be honest enough to say, yes, I'm struggling. If this is you, I want you to go into the chat right now and say, yes, I'm struggling. Because I'm going to give you the answer. I'm going to give you some stuff to really freaking think about here. If you're struggling building a coaching business, if you're not making 7 figures, think seriously about this. The answer to that question, why am I struggling building my coaching business, is the same answer to why do people hire coaches instead of just go learn themselves on YouTube. The number one thing that your future clients and customers want is speed of execution, getting things done fast. That's why they hire coaches. Getting things done fast. You got to remember that. There's 2 major reasons. Type 2 reasons in the chat right now. I want to see who will get this. There's 2 major reasons why people hire coaches rather than just going to YouTube and paying to figure it out, where they don't have to pay, they just got to search it. All the videos are there. What are the 2 reasons? One I just gave you, speed of execution. So one reason is how fast. It's faster to get things done if they hire a coach that's going to lead them through it. What's the other reason? What's the other reason? I want you to go into the chat right now and tell me. Don't just sit here passively and listen. Let's get engaged together. Tell me what the other reason is that people hire coaches. I'll give you 2 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. It's proximity. It's proximity. 2 reasons, two primary reasons that people buy coaching programs, buy online courses, any of these things. They're not stupid. They know they can find the videos on YouTube. They know they can find the learning free, but your offer increases how fast they can do it. Secondly, your offer is to get closer to you. It's proximity. It gets them closer to you. Everybody wants to learn from somebody. Make no mistake about that. But you know what the funny thing is, friends? Those 2 things are not the answer to what I wanted to talk to you about. Those are not the reasons that most people struggle. The biggest single reason, are you ready for this? The biggest single reason that coaches struggle in their coaching businesses, it's branding. It's branding. It's how you're branding your program. If you want more people to buy your coaching programs, to take you seriously, to listen up, You've got to come up with a brand for your system, for your framework. Look, if you're really serious about this, go on over to my YouTube channel, and there's a whole bunch of videos there where I'll teach you how to create a framework for your coaching business up front and build your business around the framework. What's a framework? A framework is the steps you're going to lead a student, a client through to get the result you're promising them. What's that framework? And building a framework is incredibly important because that's the magical part of your business. Now, building the framework is not going to lead to sales. How you brand that framework, what you call that framework, what you call that system that you're using is going to do all the selling for you. Let me give you an example. I've spent 10 years building my following online, taking it really seriously. And to be honest with you, most of the time it was incredibly overwhelming for me. It drove me crazy. It was Russell Brunson 15 years ago when I first hired him as a coach that he said to me, if you really want to build a stable, serious business, you got to start publishing content. What's publishing content? It's just like me going live with you right now. It's doing videos on social media. It's having a blog. It's posting on all the social media channels. It's doing a podcast. That's called publishing content. It's putting all that content out there. And he says you got to do it. You got to do it regularly. You got to do it every day. And I struggled for about 6 or 7 years trying to figure out how to do that every day. It was so fucking overwhelming. Excuse my language. I don't swear much, but that's just type agree in the chat. If you agree that it's mandatory, you got to do it. You got to start publishing content regularly, but every time you try to do it, it just gets so freaking overwhelming. It takes up so much time that you're never consistent with it. I struggled with that for years. And then about 3 years ago, I realized, listen carefully to this, I realized that I could make this all super simple by using my virtual assistants to do most of the work. So what I started doing is recording 3 to 4 videos per week. And then I give the video in its raw form to my virtual assistant. My virtual assistant turns it into the YouTube show, puts it on YouTube. Then he takes the audio out of it, puts it onto the podcast. Then he takes the audio, gets it transcribed, turned it into the blog articles, publishes it on the blog. Then he does all the social media posting. And I even taught him how to send emails out to my list. So whenever there's a new podcast, blog, or YouTube show, he sends an email out. So traffic is constantly moving. So I took the entire publishing idea and simplified it so I only have to do a couple videos a week. All right, listen carefully to this. I started having all my students wanting to learn how to do that, asking me if I would show them how to set all that up. And I decided I was going to sell it as an evergreen offer, as an upfront offer in my business. The very first thing I realized, if it was going to be successful, I'd have to come up with a very unique name for the framework I was going to teach. Something that I could trademark, something that was proprietary to me, something that if people Googled the name, all they would find was me. Because if I created the right name for the framework, then people subconsciously, people make decisions in purchasing. It's subconscious. Subconsciously, they would be like, wow, I've never heard of that before. There must be something special there. That's different. I won't find that on YouTube. I got to buy this system from Ken. So listen to the name I came up with. I called it the Auto Content Loop. And I built a course called the Auto Content Loop. And that program has literally made me over $1 million. See, I could call it Build Your Following, or I could call it a whole bunch of other things, but people would look at those names and they would say, well, I could just figure that out on YouTube, or I don't want to build my following. They're looking for something that sounds like it's going to be easier, it's going to be automated, it's going to be simpler. So I came up with a very specific name that now I'm trademarking called the Auto Content Loop. And it's because of that name that people started paying attention. So friends, if you really are serious about building a coaching business and making a ton of money, number one, you've got to come up with some type of upfront evergreen offer that you can start promoting and people are going to buy it without you having to be involved in the sales. And if you want your upfront evergreen offer to work, you got to come up with the right branded name that creates a new vehicle that sounds different, that people are going to pay attention to when you say it. Anyway, that's the secret. I hope this helps you. Hey, listen, before you go, one last thing. If you're serious about building a coaching business, and you're not happy with the income you're making, all the comments you guys made in this chat right now, if you're serious about building a coaching business and you're not happy with the income you're making, it's probably because you don't have a literally a viral upfront evergreen offer in your business. It's probably because you don't have something you're selling upfront that people buy around the clock. And once they buy that program, you start making money, and then you can upsell them into your coaching programs. If that's the case, if that's what's holding you back, if you know you need an evergreen offer, then click on the link in the notes for this show. I'm doing a live challenge. It's called the Evergreen Offer Challenge. All you have to do is go to www.evergreenofferchallenge.com. It's 5 days, an hour a day, starts on Monday. It's 12 noon Eastern Standard Time every day. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to figure out the perfect evergreen offer for your business. What's the right evergreen offer? How do you brand it? How many videos is it? Is it an information product? How do you set it up? How do you market it organically just by posting? I'm going to teach you the whole auto content loop strategy as well. Then I'm going to show you how to put a virtual assistant in your business so that every time somebody buys your evergreen offer, they meet with the virtual assistant to get set up to use it. And the virtual assistant sells the people into your high ticket programs. We're going to go through all of this 1 hour a day, 5 hours from Monday to Friday. You got to check it out. Join me for the Evergreen Offer Challenge. Check it out. Click on that link and we'll see you in the next video.